guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kira the Doll back for yet another video. As you guys can see, today's video is yet another review of Joselines Cabaret, episodes 7 and 8 of the California season. I've been seeing a lot of mixed reviews about this season. I've been seeing basically it seemed like the fan base is kind of going down, or the fan base is changing. At first, a lot of people really liked the cast that Jocelyn had, but now it's literally a whole new cast, and Jocelyn has her minions, which this hasn't happened on the show before, So now I feel like a lot of people are who were interested in the show at one point are now becoming disinterested because it's almost like baddies. Because where is the dancing? The fighting literally is taking over most of the show, most of the episodes, most of it, period. You can tell that this is very production influenced. The show is losing the whole plot because Jocelyn got some girls beside her saying yes to every and anything. So this situation with Sky with the brace going through her mouth, this is exactly what I be talking about when I say the fights can become something serious, from something not that serious to something very serious. All it takes is for the wrong circumstance during the fight to leave the fight being scar or even fatal, but definitely not wishing that on any of these girls. So we going to move past that. But nobody can say I ain't tell you so. I got an argument. Why are you watching the show if you don't like that you don't like when mentioning them fighting a lot? It's not the fact that I don't like the show, but it's just the realistic, it's the reality. This is the same way how fights end in tragedy. I'ma always keep it real before I do anything else. I mean, hey, how coincidental is it that us black people have these stereotypes, these untrue stereotypes that are these defamation, these defamed stereotypes that this network is profiting off of, the same untrue stereotypes. Because let's be honest, a lot of these girls are truly playing characters, and this is not how they truly are and how they act outside of the show, but they're assisting in this propaganda to the world. But yeah, y'all, let's get into this episode. But I definitely feel like that food challenge was way too far. I don't get the point of that. I don't understand. I thought y'all supposed to be dancing. I don't know what's going on, like I just said. But all I know is that Jane Doe better have won something else from eating that roach though, other than this breakfast. But these are the winners from the food challenge. So during this breakfast, Jocelyn is basically asking each girl what would they do with the money if they won, and every girl has their different aspirations and dreams. And I feel like this is kind of wrong because you making all of these girls tell their dreams when only one person can win. Especially like Danny. I feel like Jocelyn been letting her down pretty harshly for the past few seasons. Like I feel like compared to Andrea won, Danny hasn't benefited in the same way as Andrea. And yeah, it seems like she's like the stepsister. She's the one that gets the pity love. But I said, baby, not they got Ricardo on the grill too. I hope they cutting him that check. Okay. So yeah, after the food challenge, the breakfast, and now they are having a beach party. Or a party, whatever, a pool party. I say beach party. So this pool party went the hell down. It went down. And it was a little too obvious why they started hating on Kanaya though. Okay. That black and beautiful. That always imitated, never duplicated. Okay. But at this party, it's very interesting because G Baby forgot that she was injured. I'm sitting up here trying to figure out who the hell just did a flip. Like, it's the splits is one thing, but that flip, I said, who the hell is this? And it was G Baby. No way you doing flips and handstands with an injured arm. I'm really crying. But long story short, that party was crazy. But Natural is basically saying she don't feel good ever since she ate that food from that food challenge. And I don't blame you, sis. I don't blame you. Go get your rest. But she was very upset when she found out what she missed. So as they're at this party, after they done turned up, spent on their heads, did all of that, kick dancing, break dancing, um, Jocelyn so she noticed that the girls are seem like they arguing. So she like, all right, what y'all talking about? So the girls tell her what they talking about, and of course it's drama, which goes back to the teams and the black team versus the white team. But nah, actually they first start off with G Baby. They like, how you doing all these flips and cartwheels and shit, and you said your arm messed up. And I found it real interesting how Jocelyn went from agreeing with ISIS to turning around and be like, ISIS, shut the fuck up. Like, how do that work? But as far as G Baby, I definitely don't believe that injury, and now it's making me question how does Flame injury. So next we have Erica. She wanna call out Kanaya. Erica still ain't learned, y'all. I feel like Kanaya. Tell me if y'all feel this right here. I feel like Kanaya is reminding me of like the new Rose because she's very pretty, very feminine, and also right here I said, ain't no wonder why Erica mad. Look at your body. Look at your body. You're trying to look like what Kanaya is. Let's just put it out there. Put it on the table. Put it on the floor. Natural, black, beautiful, black American princess. Yes. So then Danny and Neek get to arguing, and Danny is like trying to tell on Neek, talking about she ain't eat the bugs, and I guess that triggered Neek. And these two definitely have this beef that's been going on since forever. I feel like the catty part is definitely Danny's character, but she doesn't seem like a fighter, so I feel like it's a little over exaggerated and inauthentic on the show. Then Danny fighting in them hills don't make it no better. But the fact that Danny's telling on Nick that she didn't eat the bug, and it's really sad because Danny won the challenge and she still doesn't get the respect from Jocelyn that Nick ever got, even though, I've been seeing clips of Nick and Jocelyn going at it, but Nick has definitely got a different type of respect that Danny and Andrea have never received from Jocelyn. And I feel like that's truly the stuff that gets under Danny's skin. And I don't think as much as Andrea, because Andrea let other people shine, but Danny, she seems very insecure. Like it boils her skin, boils her blood to have people around her that have higher confidence and get more respect with that confidence, especially after being on there for so long, being treated in the way that she's being treated. So you could tell Jocelyn didn't want to see Danny getting whooped. So as Danny's getting carried away, she's screaming, talking about, I love you, princess. And it's like, Danny and Andrea definitely give this show such a bad rep because it's definitely giving caught with y'all. So Shanks and T Love get to fighting again. Shanks will not let go of the fact that T Love spit on her, and I honestly can't blame her because I don't know how I would feel if that happened to me, I probably would be equally as mad because that is nasty. And especially because, like I said, I don't understand what T Love's beef even was with Chinks. It's just like, you picking a fight with somebody, you must want some camera time. But I will give it a little to T Love because it's like she didn't give tore up that bad, not as much as the last time. So now Egypt run down on Chinks because Chinks stole on T Love after their first fight. It's like Egypt turned into a whole nother person. It was like night and day. But it's real interesting how much Chink's confidence went down when fighting someone her own size. Egypt literally scared me through the screen. I didn't understand what switch happened. Like, what made her. I guess maybe, like I said, Chink stole on T Love, but it was just like the amount of anger that Egypt had, it was scary to watch. Chinks called the Incredible Hulk, y'all. Hilarious. But yeah, Egypt tore her up. But that's what I'm saying. Why were you so mad? Egypt tore her up, but Chinks got Egypt one good time. And as for Andrea, ain't no way you squared up with love like that. Andrea, she thinks she in a video game at this point. I think she just thought love was the perfect size and perfect person to practice fighting on. Cause one thing I noticed about Andrea is that she definitely chooses who she fights. She don't just fight every person. She sized them up. But now Danny get in the paint with people that she know gonna whoop her. Andrea would never do that, which is smart, but yeah, Andrea only fights certain people. She know who not to play with. Andrea got her alien we come in peace fit with the heels on, sexy alien head ass. So after the huge brawl at the pool party, Jocelyn trying to talk to them about them keep fighting. And as she's trying to talk to everybody, Nick actually wasn't there. So when Nick comes back in, she runs up to Danny and pushes her off the stage. And the part about that really got me is that Danny really did not see that coming. Like the way she didn't turn her head until Nick was literally right there pushing her. Like she did not see that coming. Jocelyn has definitely built a traumatic bond with a lot of these girls, but the interesting thing is that she always gives certain girls respect. Always. Like for some reason, Des, Erica, yeah, like she told Des she ain't like her before, but she never disrespected them in the same way that she's disrespected Danny and Andrea, who have done so much for Jocelyn. But when I really sit back and think about the show and how Jocelyn is so mean and rude to these girls and all of the things that are wrong, I can't help but to wonder: is Jocelyn the one that's truly wrong, or are us viewers the ones that's truly wrong? Who's the true culprit? Because Jocelyn wouldn't be where she is if it wasn't for the fans. Everybody is hopping on the hating Andrea and Danny train. Yes, they are very insufferable, but I will say it again: pray for them girls because it don't make sense. I can't wrap my mind around their train of thought. But all I know is they are battered women, and you never know what nobody going through. So Jocelyn eventually gets into it with Isis because she Isis even spoke up about not being paid, and this made Jocelyn very mad. But even Jocelyn's assistant Melissa agreed that Isis didn't get paid, and I just feel like that's definitely wrong on y'all's part because y'all couldn't write her a check. You know what I mean? Like that's the only way to get paid because she don't got a bank account now she can't get paid. I think that falls back on y'all. But how Isis got did was very wrong. I really can't wrap my mind around this one either. I feel as though at the end of the day, as much as y'all say Danny and Andrea are insufferable and y'all want them off of the screen, y'all have to understand that Jocelyn likes them. There's a clear reason why Jocelyn likes them. There's a huge difference between Isis and Danny and Andrea in the way that they act, in the way that they respect authority. Isis basically knows herself more than Danny and Andrea, and she knows what she's going for and isn't going for. So she was eliminated gracefully, and I feel like she ain't finna look back. I feel like she's over it because she's been on the Cabaret since the same season Danny and Andrea started on, but she has not got as much camera time as these two girls. So I feel like she just is giving up at this point. Like, what's the point of keep coming back to get sent home? So the second person to get sent home was Love. And of course, we all seen this one coming. But I definitely feel like Love, as well as some of the new girls, are just very overwhelmed by this energy from this house because this is not no normal everyday stuff. Like I'm saying, like for one, this is not how these girls act outside of the TV show. That's number one. Number two, this can be very just shocking to people who's not used to not only seeing fights every day, but The amount of fights, like it's I know it has to be very overstimulating because it's overstimulating to watch it on TV. Imagine being there. But overall, Love definitely did say her anxiety was acting up, and I feel like maybe that's what it was. Just this environment is what really contributed to her anxiety. But as far as T Love, I don't know what it is about her, but she really rubbed me the wrong way. I think it's Jocelyn was right about saying she never seen T Love get that angry and get like that because her first season, I had a whole different impression of her, but now it's like she does a lot. We have to just see how good of a dancer she is because personality wise, you know, thumbs down. So a lot of the OGs collectively didn't like Kanaya, and I feel like they got Andrea to do the dirty work, even though they had everybody fight her. But maybe Andrea is really the reason why so many people fought Kanaya after Andrea is because Andrea probably was telling them she couldn't fight, after she fought her. But yeah, Kanaya eventually does have to defend herself against Andre and Danny. I also didn't understand why they only mad at Kanaya and why nobody ain't trying to get in the paint with Jane Doe. But I also thought about it. Jane Doe did say that she can pick up 3 times her body weight. Maybe they know if anybody not to mess with her. So Jocelyn calls all the OGs to the front and she tells them basically that she loves them and she trusts them. And basically, Andrea just burst out crying, y'all. To the point Lexi looking down like, what the hell going? Who crying? Not only that, but everybody's looking. They are literally crying in front of everybody, and it just really makes you think like this is really has to be a traumatic experience for them. Like nobody can convince me otherwise because the way that they broke down, it's like Jocelyn never told them that before or something. Like, what is this relationship dynamic truly like? Because this not feeling right. Andrea and Danny are both throw in different ways, but equally. This confessional look right there ate down my mouth. So now Jocelyn is choosing everyone for the "I Like the Way You Are" video. First, she chooses Erica, Neek, Dez, T Love. Then she chose one newbie, which was Sky. And she also chose an additional person, which was Egypt. So after she announces everyone except Danny and Andrea, she then goes on to ask Danny and Andrea, "Do you guys know why you're on a video?" And Andrea said, "Yes, it's because I'm the bottom of the barrel and I ain't shit." And it's just like, this is what Jocelyn like, y'all. It's like on one hand, you can call them weak for doing this, but on the other hand, girls like Isis are obviously strong and ain't going for it. But then on the other hand, don't you have to be kind of strong to sit there and take that shit? Like, I don't know. Weak and strong. Look, two things can be true at once. This is just too much at this point. So Kanaya is talking to the new girls and we're getting the inkling that not only do the OGs not like Kanaya, but a lot of the newbies are starting to turn on Kanaya as well because they're saying she didn't jump in the fight, and it's just like she's not the only one who didn't jump in, and she's real. She had valid reasons why she made the decisions that she made. A lot of the girls can't say that. A lot of these girls like to play follow the leader instead of being their own leader and making their own decisions. Andrea and Danny's relationship in itself is questionable, and this relationship further proves their inability to establish healthy boundaries in relationships. It really makes me wonder about their home life relationships. And overall, it's really hard for me to hate them because my empathy screams to give them grace. And honestly, wholeheartedly pray for them because they seem too far gone. They are very desperate for Jocelyn's attention, good or bad, and by any means. So basically, they was finding a common enemy in Kanaya. So now it's time for the video shoot. I like to insert funny clips also. So I inserted a clip of the director on the set. It just had me laughing.
Dancing. I wish I had a chair.
Right here, this is for you, sir. I'm ready for some B-roll. This is for you.
Made his ass get up quick and in a hurry. Do you hear me? This is also something I found very interesting. So one of Jocelyn's new songs, I got married to the party. She's saying, I like silly bees. I like stupid bees. I like bees that don't give a F. So let's see what the silly bees back at the house doing. So basically what's going on is I think that Danny and Andrea is really upset that they ain't make the video. So they wanted to take it out on Kanaya. It's basically given that Erica, Dez, Danny, and Andrea all premeditated their issue with Kanaya. They all premeditated coming up with a random issue with Kanaya. Basically, Jane Doe and Danny was practicing, and Kanaya walks up. She like, "Oh, I want to practice," and Danny just like, "I advise you to just go home." And so she comes back with Andrea, and they basically like, "Let's go poke the bear." This scene really felt like a scene. Period. Danny really gives acting 24/7, especially with the way she started with Kanaya. It just felt inauthentic. Kanaya gracefully tried to school Danny, and honestly, they could learn a lot from Kanaya. Kanaya's just like, I just love myself. Like, what's wrong with that? I didn't never say I was better than y'all. Like, where y'all getting this from? You know? They not even stopping to think what she talking about. They just like, yeah, we gotta fight. Yeah, this conflict definitely felt like production influence. Because at the end of the day, let's be real, Danny and Andrea are Jocelyn's closest girls. These two are literally going to do anything to make Jocelyn happy. So, do you think that if Jocelyn did not want them to be fighting, do you think that they would be fighting? Hell no. Hey, yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here, head ass. Man, I cannot believe Kanaya kicked that girl like that, man. But yeah, in the beginning, before they fought, Danny was livid. After they fought, Andrea was livid. But overall, as I'm watching this season, I'm just starting to realize this season wasn't that good compared to all the previous seasons. Because like I mentioned in the beginning, Jocelyn did not have girls that was this desperate for a check. Basically, like at the end of the day, you can describe it as low self esteem and stuff like that. But I feel like overall they doing it because this how they eating. Just like the girls on Baddies. I talked about that, you know, in a few videos back. Just a lot all of these people on this network, they are either gonna go back to work a job, however they making their money, you know, and this is how they are making their money. So they are going to far extents for that money. That's the way they probably looking at it. But ain't no amount of disrespect I could take. Like, I might not even argue with you, but I'm gonna walk away though. You know, I can't sit there and take nothing like that. I don't got it in me. That's why I said like they weak but they strong because I couldn't take that. I would just have to walk away. Like I don't kind of like ISIS. I don't even think I would get smart. I don't know. I really don't know how I would feel in the situation, but I would definitely walk away. Like if she was getting smart to me like that, like who is you talking to? Rethink that thought right quick. I'll be gone. Deuces. Peace. Then as for Danny and Andrea and Jocelyn's relationship, everybody who goes on the show knows what they're signing up for. So as far as Danny and Andrea, I started to think like, does Jocelyn only keep them around out of pity because they are literally putting up with all her shit? In these episodes, Andrea and Danny basically were saying that they felt so bad because they didn't stand up for Jocelyn with Hennessy. And I definitely agreed at first because the storyline made sense. But when you think about it in the aspect of Danny and Andrea have did a lot of jumping in Jocelyn's fights and stuff like that, defending Jocelyn. They slipped one time. So it's like for this to be getting held over their head in the way that it is, it's pretty extreme. But as I mentioned before, I truly feel like Andrea doesn't fight people who she knows she doesn't. Basically, she sizes them up, and she's like, "Oh, I could take her," you know. And if she know that she can't take them, she's not gonna do it. So it's almost like so. Basically, Jocelyn, you just wanted them to get beat up, cause Hennessy was gonna put belt the ass. But overall, for Jocelyn, what is the point of having a show where you talk shit to your quote unquote friends slash dancers 24/7? That just doesn't even make sense. I think that these girls really must like the fame and the money, because that's the only explanation I can wrap my mind around why they will be sticking this out. I also realized that this season was very overhyped because of all of the returning girls, but it's turning out to be kind of disappointing, misleading. Yeah, Zeus does this a lot. They hype up things and then you really just got to watch it to truly see how it turns out, because just because the advertisement for the season is good don't mean the season going to be good. But yeah, I appreciate every last single one of you guys for watching. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your opinion on this season of Jocelyn's Cabaret and episode 7 and 8 of Jocelyn's Cabaret. But yeah, I appreciate all of you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. See you guys.